How you doing, bro?
Got a good crew. Got a good crew.
We're gonna have a good time today.
Yeah. Diving with Khaled today. I'll get out of jail free card. Yeah. Running about 70-80 kilometers out to sea. Hopefully we get some fish. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. And this is my first episode of diving in the UAE. So the military base we are diving off of is known as Sea Island. It's between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but it's actually owned by the Sharjah government. And during the summer months in Dubai, it holds a lot of these little kingfish rays that you'll see us shooting today. So I'm just going to get straight into it today. This was my first dive of the day, and as you can see, I dive onto the fish on the very first dive. However, they're a little bit skittish at first, and I'm unfortunate to not get a shot on them. The very next dive, you can see I find the school again, and there's a whole bunch of them. However, they're just keeping their distance. You can see I'm trying to chase them, but they just don't want to let me come into range. I try to get close to one and take a shot, but yeah, they just don't want to come in, so I fire a Hail Mary and I unfortunately miss the shot. This again is the very next dive, and you can see the fish are all over the show. I'm just trying to get close, and you can see I get within range in one. However, I'm using quite a short gun. I fire a shot, I hit it in the center, but the spear doesn't go through. So yeah, you can see me and the boys were sitting, we're chasing the fish, and at this point I'm super frustrated, but I'm really just trying to calm myself down and just say to myself, you know, your opportunity will come. Yeah, important thing to note is my gun is loaded, but as you can see, at not a single point am I aiming it in the boat or at anyone close to me. As I land in the water, I land on top of two fish, so I just take my time, try to get in range, and I hit him dead center. And this one is luckily the first one in the bag. It's a good holding shot, so I'm just going to take my time. These fish, they have got quite soft meat, so you don't want to be too hard on them. But I just slowly swim back up to the surface, give it the line it needs, and once I'm at the surface, I slowly start pulling it in. You can see once the fish gets closer, it's a good center of the body shot. You really want to hit it between that dorsal and anal fin. There's quite a lot of bone there, so if you generally hit it there, it's not going to rip out. It does tend to take a bit more line than a stone shot, obviously, but if you're patient with it, it's very seldomly going to rip out. So this is generally where I try shoot these fish. It's quite a nice fish, about 7-8 pounds, maybe a little bit more around the 4-5 kilo mark, but yeah, you can see, dispatch it through the head. And then what I like to do is, generally this doesn't work too well for me, so I like to rip out the gills, especially with the kingfish. It's got an artery right there, and then you see how it bleeds immediately, and that just really gets the best quality of meat out of the fish. Usually around this time of the year, the fish are only about 1 or 2 kilos, so you really can't complain when you're shooting 3 or 4 kilo, 5 kilo fish, and this was another nice fish of about 4 or 5 kilos. So yeah, they're all over the show. You really can't be disappointed if they're there and you can get in range and you can start getting the ball rolling and putting a few fish on the deck. There's 6 of us diving today, so there's quite a lot of mouths to feed, and most of us all have rather big families, so we are trying to get a few amount of fish. I think at the end of the day we ended up about 26 kingfish, with myself and a friend shooting about 18 of those 26. But we all like to share, so we take what we need and then the rest gets split amongst the group. And then you can see here again, I'm ripping the gills out to get it bleeding, to get that best quality meat, and then obviously stick the knife in its brain so that I can dispatch it ethically. You'll see it makes like a shrivel, and that's generally the sign that it's been put to sleep. Finding a bit of form, and a few dives later I swim onto another one, and I take a little bit of a longer shot here, but I hit it nicely in the center again, and I land my third fish in about 5 or 6 dives. And at this point I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to get a couple. After that dive, it actually went a little bit quiet, and you can see here comes in a school of bonito. They're about 5-6 kilos. I was contemplating one, but they're not the best tasting, so I let these ones swim by, live another day. On this next dive, you can see there's abundance of ocean life. These yellow jacks are actually very, very tasty, but the goal of the day is to get kingfish, so I let them swim by, and you can see in the background the kingfish comes in. A little bit of a smaller one, and he's keeping his distance. I've got to swim off the bottom, and I try to get in range, but he's a little bit far, so I shoot underneath him, and I'm missing it. It's about midday by now, so we move to our snapper spot, and you can see I'm swimming along the ledge, and I actually find a gun. I actually saw my mate Data swim up to the surface, but luckily we have this mark exactly marked, so I take a look to see what's going on there, and I look into the hole, and I see there's no chance of me getting it out. But also that we have the mark, I'm not too worried about Data losing his gun, and you can see the muzzle wrap there, so I choose to leave it, and I know he'll find it. He shot this fish through a really tiny hole, so I'm really not sure I actually got his spear out of there. A couple of dives later, I bump into this orange spot grouper, which is locally known as a hamor. I'm really trying to get the cheek shot here, so you can see I'm not rushing the shot. I'm taking my time waiting for him to turn, but he just doesn't give me enough time on his cheek. So as he goes into the hole, I realize this is my chance, so I just patiently swim up to it. There I can see him sitting at the bottom. You can see he moves into the light there, and I get the cheek shot that I'm looking for, so I take it. I get a muzzle wrap, but it's only about a 3.5 kilo fish, so I can pull him out fairly comfortably. It's not too deep a cave, so get him out, and I'm stoked that I've got hamor for dinner that night. These fish are incredibly tough fish. You can see how I'm trying to brain it. I get the brain spot pretty easily, but that's the beginning of the struggles. These fish have extremely spiky gills, and I'm trying to rip the gills out, but I'm first trying to get the knife out, but you can only see I only managed to get a little bit of blood, and I start ripping, but I don't know if the guys in America also have the same issue, but the grouper's gills are just super spiky, and it's quite painful, and I really don't want to struggle with this later while cleaning the fish. So while I'm wearing gloves, I just bite the bullet and I rip his gills out there, and then it's just a problem that I just don't want to be stuck with later. This was the last fish I got of the day, but all in all I was pretty stoked. I got 8 kingfish and this one or more.
How was your day's diving?
It was good, it was good. I wasn't feeling 100%, but I still had some good fish. Caught and killed it today. I think we got the most fish on the boat.
I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I think Data won it. It was a fun day. Did some deep dives. Yeah, the morning started really, really well. But then, yeah, it's quieted down during the day. But yeah, we've got enough food for a good feed, and we're gonna go to a restaurant later, cook some of the fish up, and it's gonna be
So yeah, you can see as the days catch, couple of groupers, couple of mangrove jacks, couple of yellow jacks, but then mostly kingfish, which are pelagics, much more sustainable harvest, so hence why we prefer taking more of these, but also a bit of variety is also nice.
So a sweet little thing now is we're going to come to fishtails, and 3 or 4 of those fishes that we caught today, cook your catch. That's what we're going to do. Corey, what do you reckon about that, eh?
Looking good, mate.
I was so stuffed here, but this is the end of the episode, and guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.